The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching The More Show and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. Now for the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. Now on today's show, I'm about to be joined with my guest, Roxanne. Now Roxanne is a conscious channeler, medium and awakener. Now Roxanne has the ability to communicate with your spirit guides, your higher self and interdimensional beings. Now she's also able to communicate and relay messages from past loved ones. Roxanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for inviting me.
It's beautiful to have you on. Now, actually, I got you on because it was a few people that have recommended you that watched this show, and I was like, you know what, I've got to do this. I channel myself, and it's always interesting to get people that are doing the same thing as well, and to listen to their journey and to be able to share their message as well. So, okay, this is completely unscripted in one way because I've done no research into this interview, but that's also a great place to start from as well.
Yeah, so, research is limiting.
Yeah, it can be, can't it, right? That's true. Well, what? Let's just find out about your background to begin with as well. I mean,
sure.
Did you grow up in a spiritual household? I mean,
Oh, no.
No, right. Well, tell us about that.
Mom and Dad my dad was Army. I lived Army life, lived here, there, and everywhere. We had the religious idea, but, we weren't practitioners every Sunday. Mom was Greek Orthodox, and we were kind of Methodist sometimes. Just depends on where we were, but we really never went on a consistent rate to any of the ideas of church. I had a kind of a spiritual thing back in 1988, and I looked into the born again idea for a while and explored a couple of different religions because of that. You come to a point in your life somewhere in your life you get to this idea and you're like, what the fuck is this game about?
Right.
And I did that. I did that. I didn't call it a game, but I was like, what's life about? Because, you get to some points where you're just ripped apart because all of your dependencies are gone, and there's nothing. And way back in 88, I was at college. I didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was doing. I was like, what the hell am I doing, So I tried that and I found religion and I did some questioning and studying of my own, looking up stuff, and no one had the answer. So I said, okay, religion's gone. And so I let that go and went back to Joe Blow on the street. Joined the military a few years later after the military got into the car business. And I lived a life. I lived a life that I thought at the moment was the life for me. How am I going to be successful? How am I going to get my parents to love me? How am I going to get everyone's approval? How am I going to be successful like my brother? Not everyone else, but my individual. But a lot of you can relate because you have dependencies on others that you admire, that you have relationships with. And, you spent that time struggling. I had 3 wives. I went through. I have a set of ex-wives. I'm that awesome, and found all of these ideas of love that weren't love, and never found a truth in myself. Until 2010. It was actually 2009 I started, and that was the transition process. 2010 when I start talking to people about it, and then July 1st, 2010, and when I did I'm a woman and never left the house again as a man.
Wow!
Living my life as a woman.
Okay. So
that's a pretty good summation.
No. Absolutely. So okay. So just going back to the transitional stage then as well. Where did the spiritual path fit in there as well? Where did the where did
spiritual wasn't there yet? The idea of quote spiritual, what it was a freeing idea that led me to, let's say, it gave me a peace I haven't been able to equate to. It was peaceful to be me, no more masks, no more wearing clown shoes. I call men's shoes clown shoes because when I look down on my feet, they look so big. They didn't look cute. And I am a shoe whore, literally. I love my shoes. And I look at shoes and I see my shoes, and I looked at my shoes at the one time and I was like, no, no, I don't like those shoes. They don't look right on me, and that was part of it. And when I saw that and I understood that becoming me, in here and here, that was the freedom. That maybe led to spirituality. Maybe. I don't even know if you want to call it spirituality, because what in creation isn't spiritual? Exactly. Okay. So So that led me to an opening of myself and a new pinnacle journey of my life that took me to meeting, let's say, people that were quote awake, the awakened world. A few years later, here when I moved to Texas, I was living in Las Vegas, and moved here to Texas with my parents because I couldn't get a job anymore as a woman, or non-passable transgender, I should say. Was what I was labeled. But I'm a woman, of course, so that's my world.
I mean,
And
what you did there was just so brave to yourself as well, to come out and be your true,
scariest fucking thing in
authentic.
the world.
I can't even imagine, but to be your true, authentic self. I mean, that's what most people are not doing.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, because they're not allowed to. They're taught not to be. They're taught to be something else. They're taught to be an identity. They're taught to fit in. They're taught to be a structure, to make sure, and all this stuff. Today's generations, the millennials, I love them because they're the quote entitled generation. They're not really giving a shit about what you think I should do or not do, and they're just breaking the edges. So that's really awesome. In my generation, 50 years old, has how old I am right now. I transitioned when I was 47. A lot of the transgenders now are in their 18s, teens, especially like the country of Norway, freaking extraordinary. They'll pay for it because they know they understand, and there's many that are following suit to pay for the citizen transition, not to put the citizen in a category and make
Yeah.
laws against them. You fuck. Have someone in my mind right now that I'm calling a fuck here in the United States. Um, and embrace their citizenship and turn them into humans instead of a category, which is extraordinary. So the younger generations have a bigger permission, and it was really tough for me to do it because I'm not passable. I know I don't look like a woman, but I am a woman, so that was tough. But it led to a bravery, like you said. It led to something that, hey, you know what? I got an idea here. When my channeling started coming about and such, I had no holds bars. I wasn't afraid because I went through this. I wasn't afraid to start posting my videos on YouTube and got a channel, and I just went all out in blazing glory and say, here you go, do what you will with it. Because when I started waking up, I had such a knowing that it was undeniable. And I listened to my favorite channel at the time, Bashar. I'm my favorite channel now. I
Good.
was listening to Bashar, and I listened to those truths, and I was like, okay, if it's truth, then they're judging themselves. So I can go ahead and do myself and let them judge themselves. Awesome, because I was getting judged. Oh, it was beautiful. But, I think that's what led to the easiness of me channeling and opening myself up into being a conscious channeler, and then channeling. You had mentioned earlier the group that I channel. I don't really channel a group or one specific. I am so open. I keep bringing new entities in. We have the consistency of Vosifius and Sylvester on my channel, but there's many other come in, especially when I'm teaching my classes. I have Sylvester classes, and we bring so many entities, unknown civilizations come through, and they're amazing. They're extraordinary. So yeah, that's just kind of like an open idea to allow this to happen through one idea of becoming myself way back in 2010, and take that pinnacle now point of existence and choose a new me and give me this blissful life I'm leading right now. It's like, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
I know, right? I know. And to think as well that financially it's sustained you as well, because you've been living in your truth. You've been living in your love of what you do
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
finances are easy. Yeah, the abundance comes in every direction. One thing I really understood is how much abundance I rejected in my life because I was fortifying a path on how money is supposed to come, or abundance. First thing I did is I let go of money Now I start calling it abundance. I had to redefine my relationship with the material idea of money, because money is anything. You don't keep your money, do you? No one keeps their money. They might save it, but savings is going to be spent. Money is providing access. It provides access to the coffee I drink, to the clothes, and of course the shoes that I wear. It provides access to pay the bills. Okay, I understand that. But abundance does that too. So if abundance flows in many other way, and that includes money. So it's an umbrella idea. Whatever I need in the moment is provided. And when I work through that in those limited selves of understanding of ways it can really happen, it opened up myself to the possibilities. Creation showed up, and it said, here, 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 all the time. So now money is simple now. It just flows.
Yeah, I'm really in that flow a little bit more now. Where when I say I already have it rather than I want, and when I take the action of that as well, take action as well, and when it's from a heartfelt perspective, and when everything, when all that's in alignment, and a few other things as well, you really, life only says it can say one thing. That's probably yes. Here you go. It's all yours. Yes, you're worthy, or yes, you're not worthy. Whatever it is that you're, where thought goes, energy flows. That is true. That is true. I like what you've said there as well, in the sense that, I would class you then, maybe, if it's okay, maybe as a bit of a multi-dimensional channeler.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, we channeled this group. It was Friday's channel, a group called Lacam, where actually Lacam is how it's L-K-A-M, but it's not, the English is not Lacam, it's this big long tone. It sounds like almost like a Hathor tone. Lacam, but it's really long and stretched out. It's the name of their civilization, and they're not even a dimension. They said, we don't live in a universe, we don't have densities, we don't have nothing equated with where you're at. And I was like, cool. So yeah, it's cool, multi-dimensional is a good thing, but it's beyond that, because we truly don't know what's out there.
Well, I always say, right, no matter what book you read, and all the books out there, the total sum of all the information out there equals nothing to what the reality probably is. It's just a way in.
It's one piece of the puzzle, or one tiny particle of information in all the dust in all creation forever.
That's a great way of saying it. I love that. But you mentioned as well that you're a conscious channel.
Oh yeah.
Now I
like that because I get to experience it. I mean, I love trans channeler. Like Rob said, I think in his interview, he's like the old school channelers, the last of his generations of the trans channelers. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I like being a conscious channeler because I'm in the middle of the game.
Right, now that's exactly what I am. And the younger generation of channelers as well, that's what they are. Yeah, there is a shift. See, I'm doing this documentary, the sequel to Tuning In this year, right? And whenever that takes place, it should be this year, yeah. And we're trying to explore it from a different perspective, because I'm channeling from that conscious perspective, where even maybe right now channeling's taking place, tuning into the intuitive self, tuning into the higher self, maybe taking place in this interview. Normally, when I channel, I cross through a door and I'm connected.
Yes,
but
it is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Right. So,
yes.
so has there been? Why are the old generation of channelers doing it that way? There must have been some sort of shift in energy. There's something different, isn't there?
Well, I look at it like this: if we had conscious channelers that were aware, I think the doubt, not only from the channeler, but the people would be more skewed. When you have a complete unconscious, Seth idea with Jane Roberts, Carla's idea with Ra. And being that idea, Bashar as now and as well as Rob, or Daryl Enko rather, because pardon me, Daryl, you're not Bashar. I understand that.
Yeah.
Being the conscience or the trans channeler, that provided a fundamental groundwork that human couldn't know that information, and I think that built a foundation of part of the evolution. Abraham had said one time, and of course, yes, Esther as Abraham as well as a trans channeler. So in that idea, Abraham had said one time that we are all going to be channelers, where channel is not even an idea anymore, and that's called evolution of a species. So trans channeler has to lead to something else. So conscious channeler. This is my idea. I want to be part of the game. I have to understand myself. I have to release my filters. I have to allow the information, trust what's coming through, and let it out there. And through that expedition of myself, it's been an extraordinary journey to discover what lies right in here, and that's called creation.
Oh my God! Is it not? Absolutely, it is. If you want to find the universe, just look within. I always say to people, and all answers lie within. Yes, it's good to get a reading with someone like yourself or whoever you're gonna resonate with, right? Because we all resonate with different people. Our souls do. I think we resonate with the collective group that we're part of. Maybe who knows, right? And but that doesn't. Now I use my channeling for something quite different. I've not been giving readings to people. I may do that soon, right? But I've been using it to connect to my soul and listen to my higher self. And it's been the most beautiful experience ever, where if I want to find out, is this right for me? Should I be going to Minneapolis? Should I be doing this? Should I be joining that person on that project? By going within and speaking to that greater part of yourselves, which we can all do, we don't need anyone special, that all answers lie within. But then
everyone can do it.
Yeah, then coming to someone like yourself, you do get to speak to your soul through you, which is a different perspective as well. So I can't say, take that away neither, because that is also quite good as well. Because sometimes what comes through my soul coming through you, or my higher self connecting through you when you channel, it is a different flavor sometimes, and it does give us a different perspective. But we also can't get lost in other people's messages. But we have to be the guru that we were looking for. It's a balance, isn't it?
From one perspective, I'm not a big advocate of balance, because that means if you're in balance, you're fighting out of balance, and if you're out of balance, you're trying to get in imbalance. And I don't struggle with balance. I think it's a built-in algorithm. It's called the now. The now is whatever it is, whatever the next now is of yourself. You understand yourself in evolution. So I don't need to go back to another self to rebalance myself now. I need to look at that self and understand myself in evolution and what I don't prefer about myself to choose to go forward. So I don't look at the balance between this or that. I just trust one thing, me. I'm the God here. The higher self is the whole self. The soul to me is a soul memory complex. It's some experiences of the nows that I'm aware of my actual and all my journeys. So I talk to me. See, in the idea of Bashar, existence, okay? Creation chose me to exist. So I'm the me. I'm the awareness. I'm the individual singularity. That's who I talk to. Roxanne the whole. I don't know all of myself yet, but I'm going there. So I'm not going to put too many decorations in the thing to make my journey harder. I trust now me, and I follow that, and everything's been blissful, because I'm not second guessing, making sure, and taking other idea belief systems of structure that I brought through the nows of time, memory, to put them in a fortifying idea when all truths are truth in the now. So if this truth yesterday is not my truth today, I'm going to leave it alone, because it has nothing to do with now, that kind of idea. So that's the way I'm living my life, and it's extraordinary, exceptional.
Yes, because what you're saying there as well, that all power lies within the present point of attention right now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Past is Bashar said that too. The now creates the past. The now creates the future. The memory's created in the now. There is no past. There's only now from a different perspective. My past lives are going on right now. From the perspective of my past lives, their point of view is now. We're all now. I don't mess with time, because time will just, causality, this, that. Oh, but what about? No, stop. No. For me, everything is now. Now. What time is it now? Do I have time in the world? Sure. We agreed to meet 10 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah, which I'm very grateful for as well.
I understand that, but I'm not going to validate time and points of existence to drag as a big-ass anchor into this now and put that part of my now, and then have to deal with something from the past, or especially the future. All the fears of the future, they're bullshit.
Right, absolutely.
They're based off the known. You can't fear you can't literally fear the unknown, because you don't know what's in the unknown, and all your fears are based on the known. So there's no fearing on the unknown, and the unknown is absolutely 100% unconditional love, and you're the one who gets to distort it to whatever fashion you like, because you're the interpreter of your reality, your bubble, your individual singularity. I am.
Well, isn't
What
that
a
what
beautiful journey we are.
isn't that what Seth said as well? That one of the sayings that they had in Jane Roberts' house, one of the printouts they had was, "You create your reality. You create your reality."
Literally.
So that you literally So what I've learned on my journey recently from taking this decision to go to Minneapolis was that when you create it from a heartfelt space, no matter what you're doing, that's the best place to create it from.
Always.
But I wasn't always doing that.
But hang on. I want to offer you something about creating. I'm not creating this. My higher self has already created. I am catching up in time. Okay? What has already been created has already been chosen to be perceived. I'm the interpreter of the nows in time. Does that make sense?
Well, then who perceived it for you?
So, what?
Who perceived it for you?
My higher self, the whole.
But that's you.
Yeah, but the fractal doesn't know everything. The fractal can't create money out of thin air. It can't create the nows of that. It accepts what's already been created by the whole of me, and that's the only one I trust. So in other words, did you ever create anything bad in your life?
Yes.
No, you didn't. You interpreted what's already been created as bad because all universes are neutral until you assign it meaning. All universals are unconditional love until you assign it a measure that's based on a polarity scale from a point of view of your filters that you found valid at one time. Nothing has ever bad happened in my life. At times in the past, I thought they were horrific, scary. But then I measured things based on a polarity scale. When everything is unconditional love that flows out of me, I'm unconditional love. I am all that is. How can anything inside of me that I birth into my mirror reality be other than pure love? That's all it is. Then when it bounces off that wonderful mirror, and then I get to perceive it down here in the fractal self that perceives what's already been created for me in the now, I didn't create that. I interpret that on how my life is going to be. And as I release myself from all of my limited selves, my limited self that's against people, against countries, against flags, against this, against that, all of my old identities of protection of myself, that self, I lose that self and I allow more miracles to come. Shit just flows through me. My life literally becomes effortless. Referencing Daryl and Bashar against, get in the driver's seat. The higher self sees the entire picture. You're down in the valley driving the car. The higher self has already seen the whole big picture. Get in the passenger seat, allow the higher self to drive, and you choose in the now, your heart, and it'll never leave you astray.
Okay,
That's how I do it.
Okay,
sense?
yeah. So if I just go back to what I just said there, if I go back to when things were difficult, or when I perceived them as difficult, actually, I could also add to that, I perceived them as great teaching lessons that I learned from.
If you want to, because one man's trash is another man's treasure. You have 2 points of view about one situation, and those 2 points of view are probabilities of you. Literally, even though you have an entity next to you, it's still a probability of creation saying, wow, that's awesome. And you're going, that's shitty. What the hell are you talking about? It's awesome. What's this? And then you guys argue. Those are points of view, a belief system allowing you to see what creation has possible. That's all.
Okay.
So I started being indifferent, slide channeled indifference. When I understood indifference, I got out of the way of creation. It's not my job to fix anyone. No one's broken. Everyone's forever, unconditional love. Makes sense?
That is so true. No, absolutely, I'm with you there. But just the one thing that, okay, so all right then. Well, I want there's in my reality creation right now, the process that I'm using just at this moment right now in my life is I have it already. I'm going out there to make it happen. So I'm doing it. You know, I'm not just saying I've got it. I'm saying I'm using action to take place. There's times for sowing. There's times for reaping in one sense. And I'm flowing with the universe on it as well. I'm just going with the flow, and that seems to create a reality in one sense. But is that the best way of doing it? What would you say is in your teachings is the better way? Would it be
my
as you've
best
explained
way
it?
is I know this. Okay, I'm a God that chose separation for the experience of remembering I'm a God. So I have a God self, my wholeness, that's not here to teach me a lesson. Because lessonaries are the ideas of karma, of better or worse than, of measurements of graduation, of more than. I'm already more than. I go to Seth. Whatever you think you are right now, you're 10 times as much right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. That's how big we are. We can't fathom how big we are. So I gave myself experience by dreaming myself into a third density reality and giving myself every moment a memory that I don't know who I am. Awesome. And as I allow myself to understand my separation, then I see the miracles of myself flow to me effortlessly. So I learned in that idea of lessons, if you can use that term, it's not a big deal, that my higher self is already laid out, because I know my higher self is not here to teach me anything. My higher self's going to give me the journey of my lifetime. And I found it by getting the fuck out of my way, by not thinking. Daryl said it again. Daryl's a great channel. Through, the idea of Bashar, Daryl channeled it. You literally do not need to think on this universe, in this world, as this incarnation. You do not need to think. And I really understand what he means. It means you don't have to think. Literally. There's nothing you need to try to get, try to do, try to create. Because your higher self has every probable reality coming to you. You have all love flowing to you. Why don't you get them? Now we go back to Seth. Because you're putting up frequencies of valid relationships called filters, and you can't allow into your workable framework of acceptance miracles. Because you think you can't get a miracle until you do something, which is now another thing of cause and effect, or I give in order to receive. Everything is now, so there's no giving or receiving. It's all sequentialtaneous. So I just go in my now, trust my higher self, and I choose only one thing, my truth. And even if my truth leads to an understanding of I don't want to choose that truth anymore, I don't have regret. Because without a other self, this self can never get birthed unless that self chose this self. So I see myself never in regret. I see myself as, holy shit, look at me. I've released another identity of separation. So I go through my nows, picking up all the shattered pieces of identities I found valid in my lifetime through my parents, through my social media friends, through my interactions, teachers, people, anything that make me feel part of the whole. I had to let go of those identities because those identities were keeping me from the whole. Because I don't know what it is to be whole again. I don't know what it is to be connected to every single vibration in all of creation. See, I was creation whole before I came here. You were creation whole before you came here. You had all communications with all nows. So we're only thinking, based upon our experience, what it is to vibrate in a reality with the tree, with the wind, with the air, with this coffee mug, with creation. Everything is creation. Everything is vibration. So how do I reconnect to that? I sure as shit don't think about it because I'm not smart enough. So I allow the nows and everything starts to come through me. I have conversations with entities every day. I have conversations in my head. I speak different languages, galactic and different earth languages from times of past and times now. And I have all of this. Why? Because I'm God.
Yes.
You're God.
Yes.
The only thing I did for me, my path, okay, not anyone else's path. And please don't fucking think this is the way. It's not. Because if the way was, we were already done it. We've been at this a very long time. It's only your way. And your way is the truth of yourself in the now. And my truth is to trust my higher self. I am vulnerable to the universe. I do not defend because defense invites attack. Period. Because there's no reason to have a defender. If the mirror is perfect, if I have a defense, I got to have an attacker.
Right,
if I have a savings account, then it's got to be spent. Period. So I don't do anything of the norm. I do the now. And I don't defend. I am vulnerable. I trust the now. And I just open myself up. And what's flowing to me? Love. You think I'm a victim? No, because I don't perceive victim. I don't perceive negative. I don't perceive violations of an entity. I perceive a choice of a now vibration for experience. And that's called unconditional love. Because do you really think that God, God himself, the one, the only, which is everyone, is kicking itself in the ass for being a human? Is judging itself? It created. We are creation. There's nothing wrong with humanity. We're not fucking broken. We have chosen one of the bravest journeys ever experienced. Separated. And going back home is the scary thing. That's what's freaking scary. Because we're so uncomfortable being disconnected. We can't even fathom what it is to be reconnected with all that is. But we think we do based off of what? The past of experience. Perfect. That's how we got here. But we got to keep going. And the only way I see it is release and start to trust the now. We went from a whole bunch of gods, whole bunch of gods in the age of Taurus, right? Whole bunch of gods. That's the Egyptian age of Taurus, whole bunch of gods. And then here comes the God of Abraham, okay? One God. Now we have one God. We need one God. Bull deity, Aries comes in. Taurus, and now we're in Aries. And here comes Ra, Ramtha, Brahman, the battering ram. Everything to do with the ram. That's not coincidence. That's what we showed ourselves. And now we need to get in the age of Pisces. Here comes the Christ, as above, as below. Silver cord. Now we're the Christ conscious. See, we went from no gods to many gods to one God to being in God because we were separated from the angry God. I'm sorry, I'm not worthy, angry God. Don't kill me. Bullshit. Now we're in God. Now, here we are in Aquarius. Let go of Pisces. We're God. That's
oh my gosh. Wow.
So is there anyone else to trust except me? I will never trust you. Why? Because not you're a bad person. Because I'm not going to burden you with my box of trust. Why would I lay that upon you? Because if you are actually your own entity and you free yourself and you choose something and your guilt is against me because I trusted you and you betrayed me, then I'm putting a burden that you can't bear. I don't trust anyone. There's no need to because everyone's perfect. If I'm a conditioned lover, then I suck. And I love you unconditionally. So just do what you will. And whatever you do is perfect. And if you bump your head and skin your knees or you have a causality that causes this or that in your life, that's an idea for you to see your limited self in reflection, not regret.
Well, okay,
for God's sakes.
I was going to say to you, but no, thank you for what you've just shared there. That is, wow, okay. What about those, who have gone through... those whatever pain we may be going through, I don't know, health issues, people that get bloody murdered,
all the things of atrocities of humanity. I understand that.
Yeah. So in your example there, when you trust your higher self, why is someone's higher self giving them that experience? I mean,
they're not giving them that experience. The vibration of the idea of each person perceives that as that experience of negativity. When I see someone get slaughtered, I don't see someone getting slaughtered. I see experience. You don't know what that person's going through. Have you ever been murdered in the conscious self that you are right now?
Not in this lifetime, no.
Okay, so right now, the only thing you can perceive is what you think they're going through, but you never know their point of view. See, each world is an individual singularity interpreting vibration. So you're interpreting what they're feeling. Yes, it looks like a murder, and I don't know what it is to like because I can't remember. I did get raped on this earth. I did when I was 13. I experienced that idea, and at that time it was not pleasant. But now I understand the vibration of that entity and how I serviced creation in a realization of a self. But now I understand it in totality as an experience because I don't measure it. Hang on now. I don't measure it. I lived it, I experienced it, and I understand it in its fullness now. And that's what's going to be an ass kicker for a lot of people is because they're going to say, how can you? Well, because I can. Because I am.
I mean, let's just go to back when you were 13. I mean, what would you have known in one sense to have stopped that? Do you know what I mean? You were innocent. That's what I'm coming to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was innocent.
So your innocence. Why did you? How can? Why? I mean, I could answer. I mean, maybe I would say if it was my truth, then I would say, yeah, but well, maybe you chose to have that experience before you came here. Maybe
we don't consciously choose to get in a car accident or do this or that. That's why we don't choose to create. We are the probables of now.
But as someone that's 13, though.
Wait. Let's say this. Me and you are a couple of gods. Okay, we're a couple of gods. We're going to set up probabilities together. So we start setting up probabilities together. And through the ideas of probabilities occurring in the nows, okay, we're not literally setting them up. We're probabbling them in the now. We are experiencing them in the now. So when in that idea of teaching humanity, we're going to pretend that we're actually setting them up in the now, but we're not, because it's already been done in the now. So we are talking and say, okay, Kevin, we're going to set this up, and then me and you are going to have an experience. And this experience might lead to these 10 possibilities, which lead to these 10 and these 10. And you're going to end up raping me, okay? And you're going to go, okay. Why? Because we're freaking love. We don't think as wholes like we think in this minuscule way we think down here. We do not measure. We are experience. Now, if we got together and shared, let's say, a joyful time that all perceived as joyful, okay? That all perceived as joyful, then we won't have that interaction of measurement, because it fits the category of everything is fine. But polarity measures creation, and creation is unconditional. It is whatever it is. But when you scope yourself into a reality of measurement, what's atrocity, what's bad, then you sustain that vibration. Therefore, humanity sustains it. I'm going to give you an example. Here comes a felon, served his 15 years. Gets out, fills out an application. You're a felon? Yep. Now we as humans label him as a felon again and again and again and again for his past, because we fear our reality of atrocities. So we defend against it and we create it, because we're the ones who are continuing to validate the vibration as that. Higher self keeps giving you nows to interpret. We keep saying, which is called creating your reality, okay? Not I created a felon in my life, not that shit. I interpreted this guy to be a category of a negative idea.
Right.
So I'm going to release that, and I'm going to let creation be creation. Because in my world, nothing comes bad. It can't. Because I can't see anything as bad anymore. Someone comes in here and blows me away. I'm on to the next journey. Someone comes up here and tries to do something to me in a negative fashion. They can't, because they can't reach my vibration anymore. They can't vibrate in my same earth. They can't even see me, because I'm that idea of divine nonchalance radiating a frequency that's beyond their comprehension. This is Seth's framework. You can't see the unconditional love that lies on your framework 2, because your framework 1 is so bound by atrocities and fears and measurement, you can't let unconditional love, because your fractal mind cannot perceive that it's an actual must or a can do. My musts are my histories. My I don't know, I don't deserve, maybe, are on the outskirts. But until I release my separated self getting mad at humanity for doing something that's measurable according to someone else's bullshit religion from 15 fucking thousand years ago, then I will be that, or I will be my freedom. And I found the freedom by allowing. I don't care what people happen. I don't care. Because why? Because everyone's a God, and we don't die. We don't die. We're aware forever. Why does everyone keep coming back? If it's so fucking shitty here, why does everyone keep coming back? Abraham said it. Bashar said it. Daryl said it. All of them said, there's a line to get in this joint. Why? Because it is the greatest journey of all time. It is the greatest story. That's why I named my YouTube channel Odyssey of Ascension. Epic journey. This is the game of all games. And that's not measurable out there. That's my truth. Holy shit, we actually chose to forget. So through that, we only had separation. And through separation, we grew into probabilities of action. And those actions led to wars, fucking people over for money, having people die, hiding cures. And of course, your regular run-of-the-mill murder, rape, pillaging, and plunder.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you a question. If we've done it for 15,000 years, and we're just talking on this timeline that we validated, not even to mention all the other timelines on how long we've been doing this combined, if fear is, if dividing has not solved it, what the fuck are we going to keep doing dividing for? Allowing, becoming part of the universe, accepting all that in. That's what I have found. That's my freedom. And it's unshakable.
Yeah, and that's led you to the most loving, happiest present moment that's been possible for you.
And it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even loving. It's
yeah.
this. It's called a state of being.
The
It's
state of
called
being,
I
yeah.
am unconditional love. It's my beingness. I don't love and then not love. I am, and it's
No,
freaking
I mean,
amazing.
what stops me from wanting to commit an atrocity to someone or be
Because you
doing it
know
cruel?
it. It's not within your highest frequency of vibration. You
No,
don't have
yeah.
lack. Let me ask you a question. Do you think there would anyone have any robberies? Oh, let me ask everyone out there first. Would you do a bad thing? Everyone's going, oh, I wouldn't, but they might. Okay, they always think they, but they never think I. But I is they. Okay, let's understand that. Number one. Number two, if there's no lack in the world, do you think there would be crime? And go into any store and pick up whatever you wanted, and the shelves are always full. So there's no reason to hoard. Because we have everything we need on this planet to feed everyone, but of course we divide ourselves into categories and we can't get it. Nothing wrong with that. This is called evolution. We're understanding. We're just all aware of it now. We're like, holy shit, look at all the shit that's really going on. So it's kind of like, fuck, what the fuck are we doing to ourselves? That's an awakening. Let's embrace that moment. So if there's no lack, there's no need to go after something because you don't have what you, let's say, you don't need what you perceive you don't have. They create lack for us. Got good credit, got this, got that. What about this? What about that? Are you this? Are you that? Measure, 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 measure. Fit, fit, fit. Social, social, social. That's not them doing it. That's humanity figuring itself out as we journey in the nows. There's no causality. There's no big thing behind the mirror going, we're going to do this now. All that's bullshit. Why? Because all of that was interpreted through a human who was distorted.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I found my truth. It's
yes.
a game.
Yes. No, and you're passionate about it. I like that. I like that.
Because I'm alive, dude.
Exactly, exactly,
I'm a
man.
fucking god playing it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I hear. Now, wow, where do we go from here? Okay.
Go in the
All
now,
right.
baby.
Yeah, in the now. Yeah. Well, okay. Oh God, I'm going to come back to me here. Why not? I might be a reflection to someone else out there. All right. Well, with my journey of trying to get to the US or now, deciding that I'm going to come to the US for 3 months pretty soon. Right. I say soon. Within 6 months.
Minneapolis.
Yeah. It's Minneapolis, Atlanta, and maybe a few other places. Right.
Okay.
And I've said to all I'm saying to myself now is that I already have it.
Okay.
I'm already going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm coming from that space, but one thing I've discovered as well in my channeling is when I speak to my higher self, everything's on the cards. Everything's going to go down that direction. But there is also a lower part of me as well, like a lower self that I've been speaking to.
It's not a lower self.
Well,
it's
no,
a
it
belief.
made like a subconscious. It's almost like I'm speaking to my subconscious, which is a little bit different to my higher self. I don't know why it feels that way, right? That holds some of these negative tapes that have been stopping me from maybe doing some of the things that I really wanted to do. And
that's not them holding it. Don't put it to someone else, darling.
Okay.
It's you.
Yes, me.
If you're aware of it, it's your fractal self.
Yes.
Here, let's look at something.
Yeah.
If you're a whole perspective looking at creation, awesome. And then you go, okay, I'm going to fractal myself. So what you did is you created a self that looks back at the self. Here's the fractal, look at it, all that is. Everything in my bubble is all that is me. So if I judge me, I'm staying separated from me. So that's why I accept all the things outside, because everything outside is inside, okay? Now, you are thinking that it's inside of you, deeper, conscious, label, distractions, fuck that. It's you. I am labeling myself now as an identity of I'm afraid. It's an old program running. So how do I do it? You got to choose. See, here's two things. Ready? Experience and theory. Theory sucks. Experience is everything. So you need to choose your trust of your higher self, your whole self now. You want to get to Minneapolis, United States 3-month tour, whatever it is, going to be.
Yeah.
It's already done. Now, here's what you don't do. You don't lift a fucking finger to make it happen until the moment becomes the effortless to take the action. Case in point, I'm going back to LA. I had an interview in LA last month, and they're calling me back again. Now, I had no idea I was ever going to go to LA and sit inside of a studio and be interviewed. Okay?
Right, yeah, of
I
course.
could not have comprehended that, let alone created a timeline out of effort to achieve that moment of now. Because I'm not smart enough to do that. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because it kind of froze. I'm not that brilliant. Okay, I could do it in structure, in research, and how-tos, and had a life of busyness trying to make myself something better in the future when I need to fall in love with the bitch I am right now. I'm enough right now. That's where I fell in love. And then that shit came by itself. So you having your idea of the probabilities of being there in the United States from where you are, Denmark now, right? That
Well,
happening,
yeah.
that occurring, then get out of your way. Because your frequencies of ways to come is what slows down your bliss that's trying to get to you. There's an entity I channel that's called the Steward of Creation. It's giving you everything that you are. So if you are distortions of the idea of effort, then they will give you ways to see effort. If you allow yourself to release and trust the whole self, you will allow the Steward of Creations giving you everything you've always wanted effortlessly. It's like when I do the dishes, okay? I don't do the dishes because I need to do them because the house needs to be, dishes need to be done. I do the dishes when the dishes say it's time to do the dishes, and it's not a job. It's not a chore. It's like gardening. It's like meditating. It's doing the dishes. But it's an effortless action because it's the perfect now. So your journey will happen. This will come in, this will come in, this will come in. I've had 80 plus students run through my schools, okay? And every single one of them found a miracle because they stopped creating miracles, stopped trying to control. We're not smart enough to control this reality, guys. They got their miracles. They got their, not the little ones, big ones that said, holy shit, this is real. Yes, it is. How many of us are truly convincing ourselves that we hope this is real? Or how many of us are really truly believing it's real? I did that step and I got out of the way. And I said, if I'm a God and it is an effortless journey, and everyone says that all the channels that I've read and everything said, get out of your way and stop. And I did. And guess what? It keeps coming. It keeps coming. Everything I've always dreamt of, plus comes. So you will get to the States absolutely effortless. The money, the tickets, anything that you probably can even perceive as a issue, problem, the solution will be presented in such a joyful manner, you would be silly for you to think anymore.
I've just got to be honest here, right? I've just got a phone call
Is there
from
any other way?
Yeah, but no, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I just got off a phone call from you. That's why I was a bit. I was just speaking to someone that I'm meeting in Atlanta, and she had contacted me because she felt that there was better ways to monetize my channel that I wasn't doing, and that just came out of the blue today. And I know she's right because I just know she is because
you felt she's right.
Yeah. But
she's not right in logic, because that'll fuck you. Because you might be wrong in logic, but the immediate was. That's the choice. That's the heart saying that feels right, and there's no question. Just leave it alone. Perfect. Now you're knowing your discernment.
But I didn't go out there and say.
Of course not.
No.
Because the Steward of Creation's trying to show you that you're a god, but you keep pretending that you have to earn your godship back. We're not here to earn anything back. We're not here to be responsible for ourselves to get back to God. How can you get back to what you already are? All we got to do is release ourselves from the shit we covered ourselves. I can't raise my vibration. My vibration can't be any higher. I got to let go of my limited selves that keep myself blinded from myself, to keep myself, quote, dark. I got to let out my light. So I take off this identity, this separated self, my guilt self, my obligation self, the one that seeks admiration, the one that wants an appearance.
Well, let me just ask you something very briefly then. Do you think, so you do feel that your truth is that before we came here, before we were in this reality, whatever this is, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that we've already planned the most amazing life out for ourselves in some sense.
Of course.
Right. That's yeah.
There's no shitty lives. We're the one who create shitty lives by measuring lives according to shit. But we
Okay,
stop
okay.
measuring. Wait a minute.
So
We stop measuring. We start to see the now. It's so beautiful. Remember? Hang on. Listen to me. Remember a little while ago, sometime in your age, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there was something that was so freaking horrific to you. You look back at it now and go, what the hell was I thinking? That was silly for me to react that way. Well, that was a
totally.
self of truth at the time. That was
Totally.
a self of identity. But through the experience, that identity shed itself. And you no longer, energy follows awareness, create that identity and thought as valid, creating the interpretation of your reality, giving you the emotional content you feel in measurement. You don't need to do that anymore. See, that was a self you recognize as no longer you. This is what you're doing now. So all of these nows of blissful lives, your planned life that's everything is freaking awesome, is there. You got to stop judging the journey, and you got to allow it to see the beauty in the moment. Because let me ask you a question. Do you think the gods that we are measure? You think we actually measure reality? No. We are unconditional. So if anything is unconditional, then I got to get this fractal mind, these sets of eyes called Roxanne, to see reality as no longer measurable. So I allow, I'm indifferent, I accept all that is, because I'm just accepting a portion of myself. I can't judge myself. I can't judge anyone.
I'm guessing you've come into my reality right now to remind me of this, because this is not just an interview for others. This is an interview for me as well. There's something.
Is there anyone else, Kevin? Of course, it's for you, darling.
No. Right, yeah. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for life aligning me with you to remind me of that. I'm really, really grateful. And I guess
Here,
that
do another thing. I want to tell creation this as well. Please accept your awesomeness. You're allowed to be grateful, but don't be too grateful. Because if you keep being grateful, being in awe of yourself, you never get to experience accepting what you are, God, and
right.
that thankful gratefulness occurs every now. That's what life becomes.
Just grateful.
Plethora, a now of miracles. It's endless. It's endless. We're gods.
Well, how many times have I heard it that when you just go with the flow, right? That's a beautiful place to be. But the way you've explained it, yeah, throughout this interview, which I'm gonna watch back, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there'll be a few people watching this back. The way you've explained it is very powerful. So thank you for and no one wants any addictions to your truth, but I think what you do is you go with what feels right and discard the rest. And I think there's a lot of what you said which in the moment which feels very right what you're saying, and it's just a re-remembering of our own truth probably as well, of where we're at. Wow. Okay. No. Yeah. But okay. So all again, and I wouldn't. All I kept thinking was people in Africa and the starving and everything. Just a minute ago when you were talking to me about, but then that is their reality. They've chosen that reality. Now some people will say, but how can a child? How can a child choose that reality? But it's not. When you look at the soul, it's ageless. It's not quite like that in the reality that we're talking about. I hope I'm not, by saying what I'm just saying there, I'm not going against what you've just said there for the past half hour.
Listen, you don't need to worry about what you're doing, especially with me, because I'm unconditional love. You need to understand yourself in the reflection of your own truth. Choose your words, no matter what they are, and then understand them in yourself, because that's your way home. To understand yourself in the now and the now and the now. So you're not going against me because the people in Africa, the child chose to be starving. What you are doing is working out your reality and your reflection of yourself, of your truth in the now, and then you follow your truth in now. Disregard the truth of that got you to this truth, because truth will be the consistent of change.
Right.
Because without the truth of at least knowing that there's a possibility of gods, which before, at some space-time number, we never had the concept of a God. And then we got concepts. Without concepts of God, I don't know I'm God. So you have to find your truth in the moment and speak it and understand it and experience. And then here's the big ass kicker for humanity. Ready? Be honest with yourself. Oh my God, it's a big pill to swallow. Sometimes you got to swallow that fucking pride that says, God, I I'm that, and I don't want to be that, because if I am that, then I have to admit that I am this egotistical bastard, or I am this one seeking dependencies on another person. And if they don't love me the way I want them, because then I'm going to hate them, and I hate myself for that. And that's what you got to go. You got to find that honest self, and you got to rip yourself open. You got to fillet yourself. You got to bring all those ideas of limitations out of you. And I'm telling you, you'll be left with the one thing: you, a fucking God that's unconditional, that cannot be replaced with any amount of materialistic thoughts that you can even comprehend on this world you called human. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's incredible what we are. And I found it.
Yes, you sure have found your truth, and that's a beautiful thing to witness in this moment right now. It really is. I didn't know this interview was going to be this powerful. Actually, I didn't know what to expect. Surprise!
You got out of your way.
right. Absolutely. Wow. Okay. I kind of just want to just reverse this back. Now, we were talking about this new paradigm of channeling as well. There's a lot of younger channelers coming in right now that are crossing my path as well, right? And then they're not having to go through the bullshit that we did. It doesn't seem like, but then are they? I don't know. I could not have. Well, I didn't choose to awaken at their age. I wasn't that person. They are right now. And it's like, well, how has that happened? Why?
Because doesn't each generation lay a foundation of more freedom? Doesn't each generation, remember the 50s?
Yeah.
Remember how we treated women in the 50s? The 60s, we broke them in the 70s. And then remember how we treated gay people in the 80s?
Oh, God.
And now how we're treating now transgenders?
Yep.
Okay, now shift that over to the generations of the conscious channeler. What we are doing is releasing the limitations and allowing a field of operation called human collective vibration, more love, because we're allowing more. So those conscience don't have to go through the same shit. Okay, now others may perceive this. Okay, let's put it this way. I suffered, so others may not. I went through this, so others don't have to. That's not my I'm going to do this purpose, because I found myself through the journey and I did suffer, but I was labeling the suffering. Me!
That's true.
And now I don't have to do that, and I provide a field of operation that's called unconditional love. I have a garden of the gods. Come in anytime. I have a wonderful garden. You can play and be anything you want in it. That's what we provided. That's what generations have done. We've shed those beliefs, so this now generation of new channelers coming on don't go through the same thing. Of course not. I wouldn't want them to, because that means I want them to be what I was. And I paid my dues, so you need to feel the way I did. Oh, that's that same shit.
In a way,
that cycle.
Absolutely, yeah. In a way, it is. Well, thank you for that. That kind of makes a lot of heartfelt sense as well. It does. My God, man, you're channeling. You're definitely very conscious in your channeling, because the who you are in this moment right now, if you compare that to the who you was back in the day, they're on two different levels. There's no match.
None.
No. I mean, your teachings, as much as even when you give readings for people, it's kind of must be like a reading for yourself in some respect. It's a reflection back to yourself. All this journey you've gone on, look at who you've become in this very moment right now in this interview. Look how empowered you've become in your truth as well. Which but let's face it, a lot of other people out there in this field will not be quite at the level that you're at. That's not to say there's anything wrong. That's not comparing.
No, it's not. Everyone's on their own journey.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
So if I can't represent who I am through the truth of my now, how does anyone have a potential to know what lies within them? That's why I only speak my truth in the moment, my now, my heart, and that's a vibration. It's not decorated with bullshit. It sure shit isn't decorated with theory. I lived it. So I am that. So that gives you the potential of what lies within you to release yourself from whatever you think is right and wrong to what is. And that's what we are, guys. We're what is. We're just the nows of non-definable vibrations experiencing through our awareness that was gifted to us by creation. Holy motherfucking shit. How awesome are we?
You are funny, man. I love it. I love it, Roxanne. That is cool. That is so cool. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And at least you've got your sense of humor there as well, Roxanne. At least you have that. That's because I think having fun. You know, I mean, we've been very serious in this conversation, right? But there is also the aspect of having fun, having a laugh at ourselves. You know, not being so serious. But I think that needed to be the way you came across there, because we all needed to hear that. So thank you so much.
It's the vibration of the moment. It's the now.
Right.
It's never time.
Right.
And you're right. A lot of the creation is fun, but when I come across a limited self, I got to deal with myself. I got to be honest, and it's painful sometimes. Ouch. God, look at myself. I'm mad at that. Why? Because I have a belief system that someone told me that I coveted because I was a forgotten God. Yeah. All I did was a sponge. I covet. Yes, truth, according to my world. And now I'm shedding those. It's like Osifia said one time. It's like you took everyone else's blueprints and you built a castle. And you got blueprints from all these different things, and your castle's freaking ugly. It's a mess. So I tore it all down. I find the fun in the nows. And now the founds become effortless. My life is effortless. I go and do. I wake up when? Get up, go pee, go back to bed. Yay! You know, get up, get some coffee, start my day, whatever the now is. Answer my emails, talk to my people, have my classes, go up to Starbucks, have this, have that, have my sessions with people, the channelings, love my life. And then here comes this, and here comes this. And now I get to go back to Hollywood. I'm going next week. I don't know where it's going. It's not even solid. It just is the now of that moment. Well, I don't put anything on it.
Thank you for that. Thank you just for reminding us again for that. Thank you. Well, let me just look. Doing this psychic service that I'm just launching, one of the main things, and I've barely launched this service. It's it's in its infancy of what I really want it to be, and I'm just flowing with it as well, right? Relationships. It's a massive thing, right? What's that been like for you on this journey, relationship wise, in the sense of you've got all this wonderful truth, right? Where are you with a relationship with a significant other then?
You mean a lover? Yeah. See, I had to fall in love with myself. So I stopped seeking a lover because I don't want to give that person a half-ass lover if I love myself half-ass. Because I found that out. I found that out through my 3 ex-wives. That I pretended to be in love. I was in the structure of the image of being in love. But we always fought. My second wife, her name is Molly, she woke up and we became best friends. And we were laughing at ourselves that we were with each other when we were married, you know. And then she found out I transitioned. She woke up, I woke up, and she was like, "Wow, this is beautiful." And it was exciting. And I had to find myself. I had to understand myself in separation before I can allow an unconditional lover in. Because if I'm conditioning the mirror, then I'm conditioning my lover, my God. So I can't have a conditioned lover if I expect to have unconditional love myself. So I let go. And then one day I get a phone call. And it was this man, and he goes, "Hi, my name is Tom, and Sarah told me to call you, and I don't know why." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's cute. Well, I'm a channeler. I live here in San Antonio. Do you live here?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, maybe that's why you want to get together. Maybe you want to come to my channeling. I'm doing a channeling over here. You want to come?" And it just fell into place. And then I met him. And it was not the guy I thought I was going to fall in love with. I thought it was just a guy that interacted, get to come my channelings and co-creation of probability. But I had no idea this is the man. Because he didn't look like anything I thought he would. I thought he would be a bigger man, or manly man. But, you know, he's actually about 5'7", 160 pounds, manly, hairy. Hang on. And he's got a level of autism. Okay. And I was like, how do I even fall in love with this guy? But see, as the day went on, after I met him, he came over for one of the channelings. And then I took him out, like I think a couple of days later, to go to the grocery store, to the big grocery store, you know, the big H-E-B here in Texas. Yeah. And we were walking and enjoying each other, and I'm learning about this guy. And the more the day went on, I was like, "Oh my God, this is him." And I was like, this is him. It's not what I would have ever expected. But this relationship, and to see him in a world that I could have never comprehended, how he sees things, how he understands things through, quote, autism. It was amazing to see what he is. And I fell in love with him without even trying. And our relationship is effortless. We don't have to work at anything. We are to each other what we are to ourselves, love. And I found my lover by not trying to find my lover. I found myself, and it was provided with me. We've been together, living together for, it'll be a year this March.
Beautiful.
We met last January on the phone, met a couple of times, and then we start dating. I get the car from where I was living before, come pick him up. We go out, he come over for the channelings. And in March, we moved in. And now here it is a year later, and I have found so many aspects of myself I could have not possibly have found through an idea of myself in repetition. So I gave myself a self of the unknown, Tom, a possibility in creation, so I can open up my ideas of my identity to myself. The man is unconditional. He loves me for me. And it's amazing to feel that love.
That's so beautiful. And I'm going to add there, because you was living your passion, because you was in alignment with what you love to do, that was the perfect space to meet him as well. Yeah. I found that as well, that I'm single right now, but when you live your passion, I think that's the best place to meet someone. And it doesn't have to be channeling. I mean, you could, whatever it is you're doing, right? Whatever it is your passion may be, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you're in alignment with that, right? Isn't it beautiful that you met another channeler, right? That's a beautiful thing, yeah? And I hear you, and all I can say is, yes, that fits in perfectly with my teachings as well, and my truth. Yeah.
And what I found with other people in the relationship, don't think anyone is any one purpose idea. It's the now of that person. But when Tom came in, I knew, there was no question, there was no doubt, there was no trying, there was no hope, there was no labeling, soulmate, twin flame, supposed to be purpose, none of that stuff, decorated ideas of I need to improve myself.
Astrology, whatever it may be.
Nothing.
Yeah. Even though there's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with those things, like I just mentioned, astrology or twin flame. No, but by taking all that
those
away.
Those are people's journeys.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I do.
Exactly.
But there might, but hang on. There might be someone that comes into someone's life that they're just there for now. Enjoy the now and let it become what it becomes. But as soon as you start to condition it as supposed to be the one, then you change yourself, and then you don't be your natural self, your whole self, your honest self, and then you're putting another image up against the person because you're hoping this is the one. And you're changing yourself to where you end up hating yourself because you're not yourself that you love. So trust the moment. Be yourself, and don't think you're going to lack by missing out on this perfect person that you're supposed to fall in love with, because it's not them. It's the now of you that understand them. And it might be that one. I don't know if Tom's going to be here for the rest of my life, but I'm sure I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to change myself to make it better. I am all that is, and my lover is whatever I am in the moment. But
at least you're yourself. You're a true, authentic self. Always. With him. Yeah. But that doesn't. There's the relationships of convenience, karmic relationships happening sometimes in a sense where So when you find, I don't want to put the label on you. I'm going to put this label on you, right? A soulmate relationship in a sense. What I mean by that, it's just my truth of perfection. Of everything in alignment. So you don't, it's just when everything's in alignment like that, and you're living your truth, that you get that perfect space created for you. That's almost soulmate place. Yeah, I know you wouldn't use that label, but I'm just,
but if you want to, then do that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. So many people on this show have shared similar stories that it's and when truth is just universal sometimes when it keeps coming out. Yeah. So thank you. How can people get a reading with yourself as well? Because it must be fascinating to get a channeled reading with yourself.
They can go to my website. Can you put the link in,
of course.
On the interview?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's Odyssey of Ascension is the YouTube channel. And there's links there to get to it, and then I have a Odyssey of Ascension what do you call it? A Wix site. It's a free site still. It was an effortless site. I haven't got the Roxanne Swainhart, but that might come one day. I'm not going to try to do it. It'll be given to me. So yeah, we'll give you the links and you can put them on the YouTube channel, and then you can get a hold of me. And I offer the half-hour sessions, hour sessions, and the Sylvester classes, which are just epic, extraordinary classes. And then I do if you don't have time, you can want 3 questions. I channel them and send you a copy of them. And that's pretty much what I do. And that's it.
Okay, okay. Well, your websites have been coming up throughout this interview as well, all throughout the interview.
Yeah.
I know it kind of went on its own path. This interview did, right? I really wanted to ask you. Yeah, we went to the now. Exactly right. This is what was important for people in the now, right?
Right.
But I really wanted to ask you as well. What was it like when you first started channeling? I mean, did you reject the process? Was there? I mean, there must have been some trust that went into to allow that space to open.
The biggest part that helped me, the way that I set it up to give myself validation, was an idea of, I was in a guided meditation group, my waking up group. Okay, these are the group of people that said, you create your reality, which, I looked at them like a deer caught in the headlight. Huh? What?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that meant, but through the journeys of going to the guided meditations every Friday, shooting the shit afterwards with all these people, led to my awakening. And I was guided meditation, and I loved the Om at the beginnings that they did, and I was doing the Oms, and then she goes, hey, you got some nice powerful Oms, you have a beautiful voice, why don't you look into the Hathors, Tom Kenyon. Looked up the Hathors, I listened to Tom Kenyon, start downloading a couple of them, and I found this one beautiful one called Atheos Meditation. It's like 5 minutes. So I put it on a loop, and I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm oming along with it. And then one day I'm like listening to it, and I'm like hearing different tones in there. There's like not 2, not 4. There was 8, 16. There were so many vibrations in this whole thing. It was countless, and I was like, wow, there's so much in this one message. And I was like, one idea. I was like, wow. So I'm listening to that, and I was oming along with it. And then one day I was oming with it, and then my throat contracted, and I couldn't om anymore. I try again, and my throat would just do it by itself. And then I'm like, oh, no, go. And then here comes a language. And I was like, okay, well, what the hell was that? And I'm going, okay, I'm freaking out. I'm being honest with myself that this is bullshit. I'm making this up. And I'm like, this is not real. But I kept on doing it. And then I was noticing something. I'm hearing words of English in my head as I'm speaking these words. And then I had this voice. This is the Parisian language. You can speak it. And I was like, Parisians, never heard of them. Well, guess what? You haven't heard of about a shitload of what human has understood to be species. Okay? There's billions of us out here. And I was like, okay, cool, you're right. So I'm trusting this voice. It's telling me that this is the Parisian language, and you can translate because they're here. So I said hi to them, and they're like, Koshna. And I said, Koshna mo tiriyato. And they go, Koma kariyato no matashinata. Says, I will be a translator for you in the idea of other people's questions of our civilization, and you can translate our language into your language, and you can answer them. So I called my friend, Wink, Rita came over, we did it, they asked questions, and they're like, holy cow, you're channeling. And I did it that way. Then I got a little voice in my head, here comes Hugh. Says, hi, I'm Hugh, I'm going to teach you how to channel. He taught me how to channel. He says, you're going to be a filter. You're going to be afraid of the words that you're going to say. You're going to have to allow yourself to trust and just let what comes, comes. You're going to go through different ideas of levels of your exceptional self-worth. You're going to create an idea of many identities to shed identities. You're going to have a channel ego. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. And you're going to shed them all if you choose. In the now, through all the constructs of your probable realities that I am here showing you now. Do you want the channel? I said, fuck yeah, let's go. And it started. And I just allowed. I met Osifius, I met Sly, I met David, I met, let's say, Chuck, this awesome reptilian guy. I met the different ideas. I channeled Pelia from the Essassani, Nakuru from the Hathors, Akina from the Pleiadian civilization, Makoma, Iona civilization, that's Makaru, and Nimikoto from the Ionas as well. And all these different entities just kept on, hi, 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 you're open, hey, welcome. Then the fairies come, then the pixies and the sprites and the gnomes and everything that I can imagine. There's a vibration right there going, hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? And I'm connected, and I have these conversations all the time. They're there right now. Anyone, because I remember the one law that really kicked me in the ass when they brought it. I loved it. Everything is here and now. So that means everything is here and now. So I have access to everything. The only way I don't have access is my self-worth, my believability in myself. Make sense? So
Well,
that's how I started. I started with a language I was translating called Parisian for people in the room. And then it moved into being the channel and allowing them to speak. You know, archangels came through and different ideas. I channeled Abraham a couple of times. I channeled different ideas of the Essassani civilization, Alan, and just taking it and ripping myself apart of all the identities to not fear what I am. And here I am.
Do you know, with my, thank you so much for sharing it. Thank you, right?
Sure.
Thank you. You know, one of the fears that I always have, not fear, but, you know, in a channeled state that I go into, if someone was to ask me some sort of, you know, highly complicated scientific question, right?
You know it in the moment.
Well, in my, okay.
Have they done that?
No one's ever done that.
All right, then stop playing with fear. You'll know it in the moment. I answered some questions that blew my socks off. I was like, how the hell did I know that? That only showed me that I'm connected to all that is.
Right, of course.
But that happens in the now. You're playing with time.
Yeah.
Trust you and the universe that you create. You just let it happen and give your best self, and you'll never have to justify a measurement again, ever, because you are the self of you are now. To understand yourself in the journey, you have to experience yourself in whatever that is. So if someone comes along in your now and say, okay, the relativity of string theory and blah, 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 and you bring Tesla through, I don't know, you bring Einstein through, who knows? And it may not even be Tesla or Einstein or someone of that, you know, Da Vinci, let's say, mentality, Socrates, or this one entity that I channel called Rise, R-I-S-E, with the knowledge of all the universe. You don't know who's going to be there. But I know one thing. If you trust your nows, that now will be perfect. And however the other entity translates that is their world. Okay. You're not responsible how they translate their own vibration.
Okay.
You're a reflection unto them. You're a neutral world, and they assign you meaning.
Thank you so much for that.
You are doing the same for yourself. Release yourself from the possibilities of you ever making a mistake as a channel, because it'll provide you with the freedom unbound, and you'll allow the information to flow through you, because you're the one who's not sure you would know any scientific stuff, but you would, because you are all that is.
Absolutely.
If you trust yourself.
Absolutely. Yep, got you. I'm listening. It's staying in there as well. It's not just coming out this way.
Don't worry, it's marinating. It'll be there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we're totally out of time here right now. What would you say is the most important message of your work?
Mine is trust you. The three things. There are two tools: vulnerability and trust. Okay. Jane Roberts. I channeled the indoctrines. Okay. There was 12 indoctrines. Number 8 and 9. Number 8 was the idea of vulnerability. Number 9 was the idea of identities. There was also trust, and there's also acceptance. So my biggest message is accept reality is, because as soon as you don't accept it, you divide it. You're judging yourself. It doesn't mean you need to jump on board and be that. If someone's an asshole, you don't think, oh, I'm an asshole. I accept you for whatever you are. Have fun. Doesn't mean you need to play with them. You could be Bastard Airlines and go, bye-bye. See ya. Thanks for flying with us. Get off my airplane. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Go. That doesn't matter. You've accepted what they are, but doesn't mean you need to play with them and say, wow, you're a butthole and I got to fix you and this is that. No, you got to follow your heart and trust it. Now that's the other idea. So first you accept, and then you trust everything in your reality as you. And then you choose your joy. Vulnerability is the state of being, not defending against your reality. I choose what I know is my truth. And then if that choice, the minute I make it, all of a sudden says that's not your truth, how the hell would I ever know that wasn't my truth unless I chose it? So all moments for me are the other side of the coin. Everyone looks at the bad side. I look at the good side, the only side, the all that is side that says this is a perfect moment of reflection of my evolution of myself. Thank you, old self. Without you, I cannot be this free. Bye, I'll see you later. And I'm going on with my nows. So trust yourself. Allow the universe to be the universe. Accept what it is. Choose your joy in the moment. Follow your heart. When your heart says, well, yeah, but what about, yeah, those are your fears. You know your intuition. Choose it. And let the miracles come, because if you defend against miracles, as Seth says, you're not going to be able to work those miracles into your framework. Your framework won't allow them in because you're telling it no. Your worthiness is no. You are equal to the miracles in your universe according to the worthiness of your own acceptance. You accept your God, you'll get more miracles, but you cannot create them in the fashion. It was a likened story of Bashar that one time that Daryl channeled. Okay, if you go out on Christmas morning that you wanted a pony, you go out to the barn and there's a unicorn there. See, that's what creation will give you. If you stop putting conditions on creation. You got to trust it. And the only way to see it is to get out of your way and stop preventing creation from being something other than what, let's say, preventing creation from being what it wants to be in its wholeness, but you are only allowing it to be this because you're validating the frequency of the possibilities, your expectancies, shit like that. Trust it. Trust your God. Give yourself a vacation. Give yourself a chance. Give you what you deserve just for a couple of days. Just take a fuck it uphill for a couple of days and see what happens. Because it ain't going to be fear. Because fear exists in the known of past. It does not exist in the now. It exists in time. Trust it. That would be my highest message for creation to rock and roll with themselves.
Well, Roxanne, this has been one of the most powerful interviews I've done for a long time. Just want to say that, right? That's with no ego, just being honest with you, right? So I want to thank you for that space that you've generated for this audience, and I can't wait to get you back on. Maybe we'll meet in person for an interview in the not too distant future.
Would be awesome.
Who knows? Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. So I just want to say, Roxanne, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're most welcome. And we will see you in that next Perfect Now.
Well, we've come to an end on tonight's show. Don't forget that you can watch all our past interviews by going to The More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on our past and upcoming guests by going to themoreshow.com, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.